the other building. That's terrorists. Other building? That's terrorists, bro. That's fucking terrorists.
I was at high school when 9/11 happened, and we used to get let out for lunch, and I've usually got a really bad memory for anything that happened more than a week ago, but I distinctly remember going into the front room, turning the telly on and seeing it all unfold on the news.
The bizarre thing was, when 9/11 happened, I was actually in a staff meeting. I was 23 years old. I'd kind of only been teaching for a couple of years, and one of my students rushed in, called Daniel, and said the Twin Towers had just been hit by planes. And because I was a bit dumb, I didn't know what the Twin Towers were. But when I went home, I watched it on the news and I saw the planes crash into the buildings, and to me it was like kind of a special effect from a movie, and I didn't believe it when I first saw it.
I was really upset. I mean, I tend to put myself, I've got high levels of empathy, so it's kind of that feeling of what would you do if you were in that situation, what would you do if you were in the building, how would you get out, makes you think about your family, your friends, you know, all of the things that you would worry about. All those come to the fore.
Ultimately no, which I know is a very negative answer to say to things, but throughout history there has always been examples of terrorism, and you can go back to Catholics versus Protestants in the 16th century, you can go back to Romans versus Catholics and Christians in the sort of 0 AD and before, and unfortunately throughout history there are always going to be groups that want to overthrow bigger groups. And the tactics that they use will always be dangerous and violent.
I remember when it happened, something sort of inside, I just froze, and I realised, even though I was fairly young at the time, that something not only really bad had happened, but something that was probably going to change the world and the way that we view different countries and cultures.